Do you think that it's likely that America will put boots on the ground, American soldiers in Iran?
I think it's at least 50-50, if not immediately. So people keep expecting the escalation to be continuous. And then when there's a pause, as there was between June and February, they think, oh, it's over. I'm going to go now worry about something else. And believe me, there's plenty else to worry about. So we got Minneapolis. We got plenty to worry about here, even with violence. But that's not how escalation operates. Escalation can have a ratchet effect that's spaced out by months of what seems like peace, only to come right back, and you're stuck in that escalation momentum.
Which is what we've seen.
Which is exactly what we've seen. And for the reason I'm telling you, we don't know where that nuclear material is. That has been the $64,000 weakness in this entire idea of using air power, not just in the last 10 days, going back to June. It's not just even about the regime change. It's about how are you going to get that nuclear material out? We had a deal, this deal with Obama. Trump did not like it, but with that deal, that held, and Iran took out almost all, virtually just only a tiny bit was left, not enough for a bomb, all out of the country. And we watched it. We monitored it. We had 24/7 cameras to monitor this. We had human on-site inspections to monitor this. 2018, Trump just ripped it up, walked away unilaterally, and from that point on, it's been pedal to the metal by Iran in upgrading that enriched uranium, and that's how you got to that material that would be enough for the 16 bombs, and right now, we don't know where that is.
So, yeah. Stage one is...
Okay, stage one, you are beginning the escalation trap. In this case, it's a smart bomb trap, but because it's with smart bombs, where you have tactical success, near perfect. Call it 100%, because it really is. But that doesn't mean you have strategic success. Tactical success plus strategic failure. Then that strategic failure weighs on you over time because the enemy still got the thing that you wanted to get in the first place. Now you do stage two, which is regime change. Because after all, you've already hit the targets. You can make the rubble bounce, but what more? That's why we didn't bomb them in the last 10 days. We might go back and bomb Fordo some more, okay? But we already bombed it. So there's no way watching the bubble. But now we're at stage two because what are your options? The only other option is, well, let me get rid of the regime because then the regime I will control and the next regime will just give us the material. That's not working now. And you hear today, Trump is dancing, trying to figure out what to say. He doesn't want to say the war's over, okay? He doesn't want to say the war's going on. But the bottom line is, he won't even be clear about why we're fighting the war anymore. And I'm telling you, there's a real problem. The nuclear material is still there, and it can still be fashioned into those 16 bombs over time. So this is where then you get this horizontal escalation where now they've really working on this because now it's a long war.
They start attacking their neighbors.
And try to make it the consequences go on for months. So just imagine, when are your friends exactly going to move back? So let's say the war is over tomorrow. Are they moving back tomorrow?
No.
And when was last time, have you started to plan for your next vacation in Dubai? Well, I've been to Dubai.
I was planning speaking there in a month's time, but it's been canceled already.
Well, just start to think about that. And, minor thing like a drone attack could suddenly come out of nowhere. You think it's,
yeah.
I'm just trying to point out that this is the world now that a lot of people, this was a luxury market. This was the playground of the rich and famous here. This is really now changing, and it may come back a year or two from now, but it took 2 years for air travel to come back after 9/11. Just think about that.
Crazy.
Now, we haven't gotten to stage 3 yet, which gets to your girlfriend's point.
How do we move from stage 2 to stage 3?
Oh, well, because you still don't know where the nuclear material is.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't have to move to stage 3 this week. We could do it a month from now, 6 months from now. The problem is we've now put in place a much more aggressive leadership, much more aggressive regime. We've taken away some of the what may have been guardrails. We can't say for sure for the nuclear weapon. This new regime, much more likely, and we've given them every incentive to develop the nuclear bomb. We're killing them. So what exactly is their incentive? Their best way to survive is to have a nuclear weapon. And you'll say, well, we're going to kill them. Well, we're already killing them. So we've taken away their incentive not to have a nuclear weapon. So we will start to worry as each week goes by, not because we have great intel, not because our it's because of the opposite. We don't have the exquisite intelligence we had with the Obama deal to know we had frozen the program. Now that we have Swiss cheese at best, and what we will see in the holes of the Swiss cheese are indications of nuclear development. And that will make us worry, because what happens with the nuclear weapon? Is it going to go to Hezbollah? And is Hezbollah going to help put it in Haifa? What's going to happen with these? Are they going to give it to the Houthis? So these are the kind of worries we will have that will push us to the ground options. And that is with stage 3, the retaliation approaches the homeland.
Is that realistic?
If ISIS, with its 30 to 40,000, remember, ISIS was not a state. Iran is an actual state with 92 million people. So if ISIS can foment command-directed, inspired suicide attacks and other attacks in San Bernardino, just to kind of bring it a little bit closer to home here, across the United States, Paris, remember the big Paris attack? So why exactly is Iran not, ISIS was a lot weaker than Iran.
Do you think in Iran at the moment, they're working on that? They're working on a terrorist attack?
Well, I think that my work tells me that it's most likely to come with the presence of the ground forces by us. Doesn't mean it's a necessary condition, but it's just most likely. Russia in 96, with our help, we played a trick on them, assassinated the Chechen leader. It's a leader of its republic in Russia called Chechnya, Dudayev. Only 1 million people. And Russia killed the guy. And we actually have pictures of him seeing the missile hitting him, because we can put the cameras right in the nose cone. Then the new guy took over. His name was Baziev. And he launched, within 3 months, not the next week, Operation Jihad. And his Operation Jihad was much more vicious tactics, kicked the Russian forces. Russia's a big country, almost 200 million people compared to this little province of 1 million, kicked the Russians out after 3 months, launches waves of suicide attacks, massive kidnappings here. This really went on for years and years. So when you say, are they planning it? I don't think it's quite right, Stephen. It's not like they have the detailed plan they're about to execute. They have the next wave of possibilities, which would come, I think, most likely with stage 3. So as this is expanding, as the war expands, it will go global.
Really?
You are already seeing it global with the supply chain, and you're seeing it with the oil. So that's already happening. So what Iran said today, the response to Trump's press conference today, that just literally happened before we came on, is, okay, we will allow Gulf states your oil tankers to come through if you kick the Americans out. So kick the Americans out and we'll let you pass.
If you don't.
If you don't, we got drones. So they didn't put that in there, but everybody knows they got drones.
And again, if you were explaining this to a 16-year-old,
yep,
just to keep it super simple, there's this passageway across the water where a lot of the oil tankers go.
Yep, it's Strait of Hormuz.
Hormuz?
Yep.
And it sounded like the tankers are refusing to go through there at the moment.
Oh, sure, because one has been hit. But
really?
It only takes one to be hit with a drone. Only one, because the people driving those tankers here, they're doing it for a paycheck, not a bullet. They're not really wanting to die for this. This isn't a nationalist cause to ship the oil.
Explain why it matters to the world. If oil doesn't go through this Strait of Hormuz, what happens?
Yeah, well, we can talk about it in like technical terms, but the big thing to say is this is what's going to increase the price of gas at the pump. And it's already gone up. When you cut the flow of the oil, it has global effects. It doesn't just affect this little region here. It doesn't just affect China over here. It affects everybody. And that's why the Europeans are starting to freak out, because every government worries about, we talk about affordability, that's about to change.
And is this your point about how it changes the politics at home? Because someone goes to the pump today, they go, why is the oil higher?
That's right. Why is we now have 4.4% unemployment. And President Trump was trying to say it's all getting better, the interest rates are going down. Well, that all predicated on us not having inflation. You see, when the oil is cut, the inflation goes up, the affordability becomes a problem. That is what is panicking a lot of the businesses right now, because they're going to lose business. And it's a problem of risk. It's not just about the damage. So a few of these drones can have an inordinate effect on risk. Now, let's bring in another piece, which is Russia, we find out, is providing targeting intelligence to Iran, much the way we provide targeting intelligence to Ukraine to hit targets in Russia. And what does that mean? That means those drones, which are precision guided, now can more easily find exactly which ship to hit. So
do we know that Russia are doing that?
We've got it pretty well confirmed you would hear much more pushback here. And what you're hearing from Secretary Hegseth is it's not happening. You're saying, oh no, well, let's not over worry. No, it's happening, and they're worried because that's again, the dancing around. They're not denying the fact that it's actually happening.
I think Trump actually, when asked, said words to the effect of, I wouldn't blame them because that's what we do to them.
Exactly. And why is he talking to Putin today? He's not talking, he was just on the phone with Putin before he did his press conference. What's he talking to Putin about? That intel, I'm sure, and maybe cutting a deal, which is we'll deny the Ukrainians the intel if you deny. You see, this is the cascading effects that the politics dominates the tactics.
And that's exactly what Trump said. He said on March the 7th, when asked about Russia teaming up with Iran on intelligence, he said, if we asked them, they'd say, we do it against them. Wouldn't they say that? We do it against them? It's almost justifying it.
Trump often just speaks his mind. Sometimes he kind of hides things, but often he speaks his mind. And what you're seeing here is, this is the natural thing. Russia is what's good for the goose, good for the gander. Yeah, they're doing the same thing to us that we've done to them, and they're doing it to hurt us. You see, so rather than just spasmodically or spasm response here, which we often think the foes we're up against are stupid. We essentially think they're dumb. We call that irrational. But what's really happening, Stephen, is since the Vietnam War, we have been up against foes that have understood something about America, which is the way to get at us is politically. Make it a long war. Play the politics. You can't go toe-to-toe with us on the battlefield. We'll just clean their clock over and over. They don't often try. They don't go toe-to-toe with us. We lost the Vietnam War with never losing a battle. How did we lose? We lost the long game. 58,000 dead, no end in sight, a forever war. What are we doing this for? That is how the North Vietnamese won, and that's how the Afghan Taliban won. That's how the bad guys typically beat us. They don't always win, but the bottom line is we have a soft underbelly. It's not the military.